Oh, there we go. Now Nessie's working. Okay. Okay, now they can hear us. So, this is a live beer review of Torque's Fake News. So this is a bourbon barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. Now, this is from earlier this year. Now, I know when we did the Temps taste night. So, just so you guys know, Temp Noir is a beer from Half Pints Brewery. And what we sort of discovered, and there was sort of I'm going to call it a panel. A panel of us. There was, what, 5 or 6? 5 of us?
5 of us?
5 of us, yeah. And we tried Temps Noir 1.
Yep.
And Temps Noir 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
And we were at...
saving those vintage beers for the big grand taste-off.
Oh, my goodness. So we were at, what, year... One of them was at year 5. One was at 3, and one had just come out. Is that what it was?
It was like new 3 and 6.
New 3 and 6, okay. And I think at the time what the discovery was that 3 was kind of... 2 to 3 was kind of the perfect time frame for a bourbon barrel...
Yeah, number 1 had kind of lost a little bit of oomph. Number 2
Yeah.
had really, which was way too aggressive, kind of came into its own.
Yeah.
And number 3 was, I think,
green.
Better
Yeah.
as a new beer than
Yeah.
number 2 or even number 1,
Yeah.
but wasn't as good as the aged beers were.
Yeah. So I've got, you saw that box I have of some of these guys and some of the Temps, right? I've got a whole nother sealed box of batch 3.
Sounds good.
So it's sitting there waiting for us. So
I'm all out of number 1s. I may have one number 2 left, or maybe I drank them all. I can't remember.
And
no, I have a bunch of 2s. I don't have any 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know it can always be rough when you're holding on to a number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go into this, and something I usually like to do is talk a little bit about the style of the beer. Now, I usually do a little bit of research ahead of time. I don't need to do that. I have you.
No.
So tell us a little bit about the bourbon, I guess the Imperial Stout, or the Russian Imperial Stout, and then sort of the bourbon barrel.
Yeah, this has kind of got a lot of things going for it. So, stout's like, of course, a dark beer with roasted barley, chocolate malt, black patent malts. Imperial Stout. What does Imperial do to a stout? It makes it bigger and blacker and darker and more boozy. This guy's clocking in at 10.0 alcohol by volume.
Mm-hmm. Is that a reliable number?
It's in the ballpark. I think it could be anywhere from like 9 to 12.
Okay.
Again,
yeah.
I have stats for that somewhere, but off the top of my
head.
Yeah. Something like that. And... so then you take a really big boozy beer like that and you throw it in bourbon barrels. Mm-hmm. Now, what's that going to do? Well, the beer is going to soak into the barrel because the barrel had previously been used for bourbon. There's bourbon soaked into the wood. The beer, which is heavier in density than the bourbon that's in the wood, the beer goes into the wood. The bourbon comes out and infuses the beer with bourbon flavor. You get that wonderful aroma. You get those nice little... subtle, bourbony caramel notes on the finish, and
such a good smell. That is just ridiculous.
Yum,
right?
yum.
Okay, let's go.
Mm-hmm. It's time to stop talking and start drinking. That's a whole lot of goodness.
That is really good.
How many viewers have we got now?
1.
1. Hey, we have 1 viewer. Hello.
Hi, viewer. Thank you for tuning in. You're watching us drink top tier beer. Absolutely top tier. So how would you say, in your opinion, this compares to Temps Noir?
It's right up there.
Yeah.
I think when we did the review, I could look up on my little Untapped app on my phone, and I'm pretty sure I gave this one a 5. Temp Noir was a 5. It's a pretty damn good beer.
Yeah. It's really good for me.
There's hints of coffee in there, hints of molasses. Oh, bourbon, lots of bourbon.
Mm-hmm. But it's not as boozy, I think, as Temps, as some of the Temps.
I think it's about the same. I think Temp Noir is 9.6 or something.
No, but I just mean taste wise, right?
It's a chance to mellow. Sure.
Yeah.
I like the art on the bottle.
I've got the printout. Actually, you got the printout too. I don't know where you put it, but
up on the wall at the store.
Yeah. I got it up over there in the kitchen there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So definitely a quality beer. What would this go well with? What would you have this with?
Oh, weirdly enough, off the top of my head, I want to say like a meat pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like lots of gravy.
Yeah.
Juicy.
Yeah. Because it's like you're thinking something heavy, right?
I'm thinking a nice aged cheddar cheese on a cheese board.
I might have some of that in the fridge.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because that's all class.
I absolutely love.
So, how is this going to help us fight demons?
Well, I mean, as you know,
demon fighting prowess helps you.
Well, so like when you're fighting anything, right?
Yep.
Obviously, being able to celebrate in the mead hall afterwards,
yep,
is a given, right? So, what's the modern mead hall but the tap room, right? A little bit of food, mostly there for the beer, right? Okay, so
we were in the tap room earlier. Was there any demon slayers coming in there, or are we just talking gamers that slay demons?
Well, you know what? Let's
with video game controllers.
Let's understand the culture that we live in,
mm-hmm.
right? So demon slayers today, they're not going to look like the demon slayers of old, right? With the advances in technology and other sort of advances towards the demon slayers. I mean, the old ones are going to be big, hulking. They're going to be look kind of they're going to have weird spiritual powers. Nowadays, you don't need that. You don't need that, right? So the demon hunters of today, they're not gonna look very different from you and me, because a lot of the stuff is going to be through using technology and other means like that, right? So
a bourbon barrel Russian Imperial Stout drinking hipster tap room goer is just going to look like a regular dude.
Absolutely. No reason that they wouldn't. I mean, let's be realistic. The demons were really scary back in the day, when you could come against them with was a sword and a bow. But nowadays you can use tactical missiles, you can use guns. They had to switch their tactics, so they're mostly online, they're mostly cyber, which means that's the tactics we have to use against them. Now, one thing that doesn't change is the
demons right now are sitting in a control room with a fancy little computer terminal.
Yeah.
And they're typing away with their great big claws while their wings are kind of flapping in the background, and they're launching drone strikes at us.
Well, not drone strikes, right? That's a little overt for them these days. It's probably more sort of subversive kind of bots and Twitter bots and cultural kind of things, right? So that's probably what you're actually looking at, as far as what kind of things the demons are going to be doing these days. Again, they ruled through fear in the past. They still want to do that, but the problem is if you show up in all your demonic splendor, right, and then you get shot a bunch of times, you fall down, nobody's afraid of you then, right? So we can't really know about them specifically, right? It's got to be this sort of more subversive thing. So they have to create fear and terror in the world without the physical presence that's given to them. Without that, all that oomph, right? So they have to change their tactics, and that's why it looks different. Now, to get back to the Russian Imperial Stout, and the reason that's helpful is because one of the things that has not changed, right, is the tradition of the consumption of wheat-based and malt-based alcoholic drinks to embolden the people who would fight demons. That's still the same. That hasn't changed.
Let's get drunk and go kick ass.
All right. We are going to do that.
And you would say that in medieval terms is, let us partake of ye old ale and smiteth thy foe.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Smiting.
So we're going to do that. And then for to protect all you guys at home. And yeah, I think we'll call it there.
This beer is safe to drink. It's recommended by Scott and Alex.
It's the Fake News Russian Imperial Stout. You can still find it in the LCs.
Comes in 3D.
Yeah, you can still find it in the LCs in Winnipeg. Now, if anybody's watching this at a later date, because we have only one viewer and they're not talking right now, can you recommend any...
Hi, Alex's mom.
Actually, more likely Alex's sister, but that's beside the point. No, she would be chatting. So can you recommend any similar beers that might be a little bit more widespread? I know this is a little bit more of a niche sort of category. I know
the guys over at Torque. I like a lot of their beers. One of my personal favorites. It's a step down from this, but by no means is it a lesser beer. Well, it is a lesser beer because this is a superior beer, but it's a good benchmark beer. Is Diesel Fitter. Mm-hmm. And that is an American style stout. So not only is it a typical stout, nice, dark, rich, good, chocolate malt, caramel malt finish, flavors, that roasted barley, that's the one I'm talking about. Almost that coffee espresso taste to it. Yeah. But it's got a good dose of hops. And it's available all the time. This is a limited run. And
so you can still find this one in some of the LCs. So maybe more sort of my question is, let's say we're talking to somebody who's in Seattle or I was going to say Fargo, but that's actually not far away, and it would kind of be worth the trip. But like somewhere else, like what's maybe more, because I know Innocent Gun has.
Well, you would go into your local beer boutique or whatever passes for something in whatever region you're in and ask somebody in your local shop and they'll recommend a local brew. If you're looking for an Imperial Stout, look for an Imperial Stout. I
know we've got 2 bourbon barrel stouts that are sort of become really big in Winnipeg here. Is that a common style? Is that something that comes up?
Well, we're only talking 2 stouts versus how many different pale ales and IPAs and New England IPAs, which are all the rage right now, and milkshake IPAs, and throw sours into the mix. I think a lot of the darker ales are kind of getting a little bit pushed over to the side. So they're still classics. They're still solid beers. For people that like them, they're still out there. But all the hop forward beers tend to be, a little bit more popular. What did I just recommend? I recommended Diesel Fitter. It's a local brew. Hey, guess what? It's hoppy. Guess what? I'm a hop guy.
You see, and I just find, for me, the beers like this, the darker ones, just significantly more complexity.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I enjoy. And there was one of the beers we had today, which was a lighter one, which I think was the Kilter. What was the second one on the list there? Waves?
Yep.
That had a good amount of complexity, which was interesting for a lighter beer.
And Kilter also had a dark beer that was
pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That was a coffee stout.
Yeah, you're gonna complain about the fact that they ran out, or
I'm gonna complain about they ran out. Kilter, make some more coffee stout.
It's a good problem to have when people want more of your stuff.
Yep.
So I think what you're saying is that if you're not getting a local brew that is a bourbon barrel stout and you really want to try one, just get a placard and stand in front of your local brew shop and say Russian Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel Russian Imperial Stout, and just
what? There's actually a decent amount of them out there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it is kind of a very much a signature style, and I mean any brewery that's trying to make something unique and signature, if they can get their hands on the bourbon barrels, that's what they're going to make. Because you wouldn't make a bourbon barrel aged cream ale or a bourbon barrel aged IPA. It just doesn't suit the style. But a bourbon barrel Russian Imperial Stout, you want a big boozy beer, so you're either going to get bourbon barrel aged maybe barley wines or something like that. But Russian Imperials are the way to go.
All right, so you heard it here. Russian Imperials are the way to go for everything all the time.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hop back into Sanctum. I think I've got Scott awake again now.
I'm a little bit more,
He's an old man. What do you want? How's that old man strength working out for you?
The which?
Old man strength.
Old man strength?
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kick all you whippersnappers' arseholes.
Yeah,
there you go.
I am so excited
Yep.
for Old Man Strength. That is like a life goal for me. Which just means I need to stay alive. Apparently, that's how that works.
Yeah.
But
get through COVID, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So
mask up, not like us.
Yeah.
6 feet? No.
No,
That's 3.5.
You have 6 feet arms, don't you?
If I put two of them together, that's 6 feet.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna sign off and hop back into the game. If he starts to fall asleep again, we may come back on with a Temps 3 review.
Maybe.
He's looking at me like he's...
Or it'll be Scott sleeping on the couch, Alex drinking Top Noir, and making fun of me sleeping on the couch. But
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
First of all, I got to kick his ass, killing demons with my roguish fighter type guy here. We haven't given him a name. I'm going to call him Rex.
Rex?
Rex.
Okay.
Rex Pendable. It's a great name.
I'm going to kill the feet.
That's my new character name. You wait for it.